Please welcome Fenny Wang!
A little shorter. All right. Thank you. This is a story about the first boy who told me he loved me. It's late at night, and I get an MSN message to come outside. I open my door, and I see my friend Lee standing there, hands in his hoodie pockets. He pulls out an apple-looking fruit. It's about the size of a golf ball, greenish, and a little bruised. He stuffs it into my hand and looks at me like I'm supposed to give him an answer. So Lee and I met back in the first week of high school when I slammed my locker door into his head as he was grabbing his textbook from the one next to mine. Aside from that, though, we never had any memorable interactions for the first 2 years we've met. I just remember he was really silly, always humming, and almost had a skip to his walk. So when he showed up in front of my door before the year of grade 12 with a fruit in one hand, I'm confused. I ask him, "Why are you giving me an apple, and why is it warm?" "It's not an apple, it's a date." He pauses and waits for my reaction. So, for context, I was the type of girl who, for longer than I like to admit, thought babies came naturally, like acne, boobs, and menopause. So, at 17, I was still really squeamish about boys, and the thought of dating one was as terrifying and as adult of a topic as taxes. So I decide, playing dumb is my only way out of this. "Oh, thanks." I put on my best blank stare, trying hard to hide the fact that I'm about to throw up, like now. He's frustrated, and he tries again. "Do you want to hang out this weekend?" "I can't, I'm busy, sorry, good night." I quickly turn around, shut the door as quickly as I could, and I run upstairs before my dad can ask me who that was and why they gave me a fruit. So this date sits on my table. I don't want to eat it because then it'd be like I'm accepting it, right? But then I felt guilty for throwing it away, so I just watched it get wrinklier and wrinklier every day until it got shriveled and my mom had to throw it away. Grade 12 starts, and I see Lee. He seems to have forgotten about the whole thing. He casually appears in my band, orchestra, and choir practice as a talented guitarist, pianist, and singer, as if he's always been there. After rehearsal, he starts walking me home every day, as if he's always done so. At first, we had nothing to talk about. We just sit on the swings and eat Cheetos. But as time went on, we start to talk about everything, and I find out that both of our dream university was Queen's University. So we'd have all-night study sessions over MSN, early 2000s, and I find that we had a lot in common. Every once in a while, he would do this really weird thing where he would send me an email with just an attachment. It's not a spam. It would be a cover of a song he had made. He's a very, very talented musician, but he never writes songs because he said he was bad with words. So it's 1 month before our high school graduation, and I'm turning 18. It's late at night, the moon casting over our heads. He's walking me home, and we stop at the gate of my neighborhood, because Asian parents. And I go in for a hug to say goodbye when he slowly places one hand on my shoulder. Confused, I look up at him, thinking to myself, why is his head getting bigger? Oh! So I ducked the last second. He didn't think he thought it was fine. He just hugged me, and I feel a kiss on my forehead. That summer, knowing that both of us were going to our dream university the following fall, I say yes when he asks to hang out again. But the day before, though, a sudden thought pops into my head. Oh my gosh, what if he tries to kiss me again? Do I like him like that? Wait, I don't know anything about kissing. Do you turn your head? I heard if you're Asian, you don't need to do that because our noses are flatter. But he's so talented and sweet, I should like him, right? Do I close my eyes? Anyway, so I do what every girl have done. I go incognito mode, and I go into Google, and I type, how do you kiss? I hit enter. Oh God, I have to worry about tongues now. So overwhelmed and a little bit grossed out, I decide to just wing it. The day comes, and we go biking for 10 hours. At one point, we are passing by a field, and he pulls out a kite, and we're flying a kite. And we keep biking, and we stumble into a cornfield. By the time we found ourselves in a forest, I have long forgotten about my worries. There's an inviting tree trunk that's grown horizontal, so we hoist ourselves up, And here we are, sitting in a tree, like actually. And we're laughing about the kite that got stuck in the power line when all of a sudden, everything goes silent. I hear the leaves rustling and the distant cars passing by, and he turns to me in slow motion, puts his one hand on my shoulder, and I'm off balance now, so I quickly grab his other shoulder to stay on. And he leans in, and he gives me a peck on the cheek, and he jumps off the branch, puts me up, puts me down, and we hop on our bikes. We're zooming down a hill. I'm gripping hard on my handlebar. The wheels underneath me are turning faster and faster and faster, as if it's trying to catch up to my own racing heartbeat. I remember the August wind felt exceptionally cool against my blushing cheeks. That was the most I've ever felt for a boy. For our first official date, we had $20. And we spent $7 each to buy a ticket, a GO train ticket to Barrie. On the way there, he tosses a hoodie over our heads, and he kisses me. Let's just say it was more than a peck this time. All of a sudden, he's serious. He looks at me. He says, I think I love you. You think you love me? I know I love you. Oh, okay, I love you too. I know. If it happened now and a guy said he loved me on a first date, I'd freak out. But on that bus, it was so easy to accept his love and to love him back. Life is easy like that with Lee. For the next 4 years of university, when it felt like the whole world was getting drunk, getting drugged up, and sleeping around, we were biking, hiking, and fishing. We were each other's first everything. I had to do a lot more Googling, but never once did I question that he wouldn't be my last. Though, as time went on, I did realize that our relationship was a little bit different from most. Where there should be tangled sheets and heavy breathing, we built forts and watched Tom and Jerry. Where bodies should fit, we made puzzles on the table next to it. Where words of romance are whispered, we sang made-up songs and drifted into sleep each night holding each other's hands like sea otters. Romance had a different definition in our dictionary. At night, we'd light candles, and we'd sit side by side in front of the keyboard. He would harmonize the left-hand side and let me play the melody with my right hand. During the day, I would cook for him 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, for the 3 years we lived together. In our world, roses didn't grow in February. He gave me a mortar and pestle, an umbrella, a durian, a tropical fruit that smells like socks but looks like a porcupine. I gave him a guitar strap, a music box, and a piece of gallium. It's a type of metal that melts into liquid when you hold it in your hand. We didn't put too much emphasis on special occasions because every day felt like a special occasion with him. I remember one day I came home from school and he's so excited and being all mysterious. He takes me down to the basement and I see his most prized vintage bike now had a newly mounted bike seat attached to it with a whiteout written Fenny seat. I know that carrying a person's weight would permanently damage the bike frame and diminish the value, but he tells me not to worry. I still felt guilty, but I couldn't resist when he asked me if I wanted to give it a go. So he carries me to the top of our favorite hill next to the football court. He says, ready? I give him a squeeze as I wrap my arms around him. We're zooming down the hill. I'm gripping onto the fabric of his jacket, and the wheels underneath me are turning faster and faster and faster. I remember the November wind made me tear up. That day, he biked us up that hill again and again and again until he was out of breath, just so we can come down screaming. We were inseparable, and we told each other everything. Right before I graduated, he finally confessed that in grade 12, when he found out that I wanted to go to Queen's University, he studied extra every single day so he can follow me there. I jokingly called him an idiot and to never do that for a girl again. So that summer, my cousins got married. Well, not my cousins, sorry. My cousin and his wife got married, and I invite him as my plus one. You know, it's PG, right? So, of course, he was my plus one, and we go, and it was a beautiful wedding. Now, my cousin and his wife were my favorite couple because of how silly they were. They had so much fun with each other, just like Lee and I. Lee appears in front of me, dashingly handsome as ever, but my heart sinks. I knew that I didn't feel the way you're supposed to feel when you see your man appear in front of you in a suit. My heart was gushing with happiness, though, for my cousin, and my distant relatives are elbowing us, saying, hey, you guys are next. We laugh, and we stick our tongues out at each other. I was really happy when I saw my cousin dance with each other, and the way they looked at each other, I knew they were in love. But that's also the moment that I realized I never saw Lee like that. So he goes back to Kingston for his final year of school, and we're doing long distance. For the first few months, it was fine. I thought it would be difficult, but I realized, stripped away of the routine we once shared, it felt like the only thing that connected us was the nightly alarm to remind ourselves it's time to call the other person. So one day, after one of these calls, I turned to Google again and I type, I love him, but it was a Saturday when I start writing him a letter. I tell him everything I love about him, how I am the luckiest girl to have been his girlfriend, how sorry I am that I can't not wonder if this is really love, and how he's the most perfect person that I could have ever wished for, and that the selfish part of me would always regret giving him up. I rewrite this again and again and again until I am sobbing and my eyes so watery I can't see how many hours have gone by, and I press send. The next day, I don't hear anything. I'm scared that I will, and I'm more scared that I won't. Finally, I get a reply from him, and this is what he said. Thank you for being honest with yourself. I am sorry if it ever felt like I was trying to persuade you otherwise. I will always appreciate the things you have done for me, and I wish you the best of luck in everything you do. I spend the next week in a haze, crying so much that I get a fever, but somehow being physically ill made my heartache seem less painful. It's a Monday now, and I'm sitting in front of work, trying so hard to concentrate, when I suddenly get another email from him, and I have one line. I'll be in your lobby today at 7 p.m. That evening, we saw each other for the first time in months since he went to school, and we talk about nothing and everything. He doesn't ask to get back together. Instead, he sings me a song, the first and only song he's written for me. And one of the verses goes, "Oh, little bird, we've built a nest of memories. Now it's fading through the days while I'm losing parts of me. So fly, little bird, fly. I hope you find your destination. Though it makes me cry, but I'll be growing in the meantime." He tells me to be brave and to hold myself together, but I see him breaking. I ask him if he really, truly believes that we can last, and he says yes without hesitation. I'm holding his hands, heavy with the weight of both of our futures and both of our sadness. I realize I had the power to make everything okay again, so I take a deep breath and I tell him, okay, I trust you. In that moment, I knew that there was no going back and that there's no way I can break his heart a second time. 3 months go by, and I am no longer wondering. We are talking about the names we'd give our future dogs, places we'd go, until one day my phone rings. Hey, hon, what's up? Hey, I think you're right. Let's break up. We stay on the phone for 3 hours. When we finally ran out of memories to cry over, we just sat quietly on the line. Why? I asked the question nobody wants to hear the answer to. I tried to write you a love song, and I couldn't. I still think we can make it work, but I don't want you to hate me one day. Okay, I say bye, and I wait for him to hang up. That is my story, and the song that I will be, playing is Mia and Sebastian's theme from the movie La La Land. If you guys haven't seen the movie, it's a beautiful musical film about two star-crossed lovers that eventually part ways to pursue their own lives. And I chose this piece because I want to say that the couple doesn't have to stay together for it to be a great love story.